Just want to make sure that everybody knows it was 1997. In 77, I saw Star Wars. I think I was 5 or something. All right. Okay. I'm nervous. I don't normally do this kind of stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, gamers and game makers, thank you for allowing me into Dig London without a press badge, which is nice. Usually I have to have a press badge for these things. And for letting me tell you point by point exactly how to make great games that lots of people will buy. No, that's not what I'm going to do. Just relax. I get to do that every week anyways. Now, today is another in a long list of days that I've had over the last 15 years where I get to ask myself, how the hell did I get here? I'm just a big fan of this stuff. I'm humbled and honored that you'd let me talk to you, particularly when we're all waiting for more of our dinner here. So I prepared 2 versions of my speech. One is a full-length, 3-hour Peter Jackson-style director's cut with 8 separate endings, and also one abbreviated 5-minute-long speech that wraps up right about here. Yay! Sorry, I gotta keep talking. I did make a checklist of things that you want to hear from me about. As per the focus of the conference, I started thinking about the importance of the video game industry to Ontario. It's really important. I thought about why London should be supported and continue to grow as a major destination for games made in Canada. It should. I also thought I would speak about why education around games is so vital, especially to Canadians and to emerging development centers like London. Well, it's vital. And after I prepared this beautiful checklist filled with dollar signs, lots of sexy statistics, and a whole bunch of interesting data, I realized that, well, my speech was going to suck. There are several esteemed guests of Dig London that can speak about all the statistical aspects of Canada and London-based game development. These are the analysts, the company executives, and the developers themselves. Those people will steer you straight. I figured I'd use my time to fill you in on a little bit of what the Canadian game industry support has meant to me and to my life, and also give you all a look into the kind of crazy job that I have. So please indulge me. First off, I want to say that I have probably one of the most unique jobs on the planet, and I'm acutely aware of it. Actually, I was having a conversation with some guys before this, and people were wondering if they could have my job, and no, you can't. You can't have my job. I respect my opportunities greatly, and I am forever indebted to video game fans across this incredible country for recognizing me as a fellow video game fan that they can identify with, and supporting our shows and our websites for almost 15 years now. Here in London, Electric Playground aired for years on the new PL, and I have to say that I was always really stoked that we had a bunch of cool local stations across Ontario airing the show. We're working with Rogers now, and have national airtimes on City TV and G4 TV Canada, which has definitely increased our viewership, which has been great. But it didn't start out that way. EP was created in a bit of a panic during the winter months of 1994. I was an actor and a waiter, mostly a waiter, and I was worried that I was going to be a waiter for a very long time. I started putting together ideas for things that I'd like to create and be a part of, and it didn't take me too long to connect acting and TV production and my love for video games. The only problem was I wasn't a TV producer. I may have mentioned that I was a waiter. I was a good waiter, but not really equipped to produce television in 1995 when we started shooting and prepping the pilots for the series. What I was equipped with was a feverish love for video games. I was spending about $400 a month on my hobby, and my girlfriend, who is now my beautiful wife, was thrilled with that. It's a good thing I made some pretty decent tips. And truthfully, acting and waitering did actually help me out quite a bit transitioning to producing TV, oddly enough. So, keep that in mind, anybody that's got a day job that they hate but is aspiring to make video games. From the beginning, and in speaking with other TV producers, I realized that getting a video game TV show off the ground was going to be a pretty difficult challenge. I actually had a successful Vancouver producer say to me, "Cool, you'll be able to cover the latest games in your first episode, and then what? What would you do for the second show?" It just goes to show you that sometimes people with experience talk out of their ass. What amazed me right from the start was the openness and accessibility of people in the video game community. There was a recognition in the video game space that TV and mainstream programming around this industry was necessary. And even though I didn't have any experience producing TV, I was accepted by the game community right from the beginning. Why? I think what game developers and publishers saw in me and in the people I was working with and the show that we were trying to build was an honest passion for the medium of video games. We weren't trying to cash in on a fad, so we had the support from key game makers and major game studios right from the start. Now, the awareness of this support and the importance of having the gaming industry behind an idea like the Electric Playground carried over into our discussions with broadcasters. And again, I think programming executives at the different stations and networks that we talked with saw that we were doing this because we love this industry and wanted to make something to honor it. So broadcasters, sponsors, game studios, interviewees, celebrities, and all kinds of more experienced television production personnel that we worked with took a big leap of faith and got behind our show. We launched EP on television in 1997 and have been on the air ever since. We've had some years where we've produced 2 seasons of EP, so that's put us into the position of getting ready to launch season 20 of Electric Playground in 2010, and I really can't believe it. By the way, I just want to point out to everyone that's in the audience that's on the fence about chasing a dream, I was raised by an amazing single parent, my mom Joanne, who gave me everything, but we didn't have any money. We were a welfare family, and I'm incredibly grateful to our socialistic government for taking care of its citizens. I've been working since I was 12 years old, when I used to be a pretty spectacular paper boy. I did pretty well in high school, and I took a student loan to go to acting school and got some work afterwards, but basically I had to reach out and work with people to create our opportunities for Electric Playground. We were never handed anything. I'm not related to George Lucas. Let's set the record straight on that. We started an innovative national TV show about the video game business out of the apartment that my girlfriend and I lived in. In fact, she and I moved back in with my mom so that in my company's first year we could actually have an office. So if we could get something off the ground and see it keep growing for more than a decade, I think anything is possible. You just have to want it and you have to work for it. Now obviously the show has changed a lot over the years. People have come and gone in front of and behind the camera. And we're now a dailies TV series that covers all forms of entertainment that gamers are into. The show is filled with incredibly talented people that blow me away every single day. I can't tell you how rewarding it is to have a younger staff take on management, hosting, and editorial roles on the program and watch them shine like they do every day. It's also kind of infuriating that they're all so damn talented. I think we make a pretty hot show with EP, and I'm proud of the fact that we dip into entertainment that you might see featured on other shows, but EP does it through the prism of a gamer's perspective. And that's the one thing that hasn't changed over the years. I think we launched with a passionate and knowledgeable viewership base that wanted a show that spoke to and for them, and I think that they're still watching. I think the reason why we're still making Electric Playground is because Canadians are die-hard fans of this medium. I think Canadians abso-freaking-lutely love their video games. And I also think that it's this honest love that has helped Canada become, in my opinion at least, the global leader in game development. When I started EP, Vancouver was an up-and-coming hotbed for game makers. EA Canada was well established and already pumping out great games and sports sequels. Upstart developers like Radical and soon after Relic and Barking Dog were creating a ton of noise in the video game industry. In the first seasons of EP, we talked to developers in Vancouver, and then we'd start planning road trips down the West Coast to visit studios in Seattle and San Francisco and Los Angeles. We used to pile into a rental van and share hotel rooms, eat Taco Bell, and pop into different studios all up and down the coast.